In IELTS Academic Writing Task 1, you are almost always asked to make comparisons where relevant. And your English needs to be formal as well as grammatically correct. So do you know how to make grammatically positive comparisons which are both formal and correct when you summarize the information in a chart or a table? I'm going to play a short clip from an early video in which I introduce the first part of the PNA system for making comparisons. And then I'll explain how you can get yourself into good habits if you need a score of band 7 or higher. In the text you will see on the board in a moment, something is grammatically incorrect. So see if you can spot it before I point it out. Making comparisons. Apples have a value of 1, oranges have a value of 2, and bananas have a value of 3, just for the purposes of this video. Obviously, in different countries you have different currencies and the prices are different, but for the sake of this video, those are the values, 1, 2 and 3. We're going to start with a positive comparative, and when I say positive, I mean grammatically positive. So we're not using the word not. And apples are significantly cheaper than bananas is the same as saying apples are a lot cheaper than bananas. That's what we would normally say in everyday spoken English. But when you're writing formal English, a lot is incorrect, or it's grammatically correct, but it's inappropriate. It's considered bad style. It's informal rather than formal. So if you want to say there's a big difference, 3 options you've got for formal English are, you could say much, you could also say considerably or significantly. And I've given you 3 options because when you're describing changes in that you see in the data or differences, sorry, we're not talking about change here. If you're talking about a point in time, but if you're talking about a big difference, then these give you 3 options, and you're more likely to focus on the big differences when you're summarizing the data. So apples are significantly cheaper than bananas. Bananas are, you could say significantly, but here we've put considerably. Any of these you can vary. Are considerably more expensive than apples. And the actual comparative bit, because this bit here just tells you how big this is a big difference, then with the comparative it's ER or more, but not both. With both of them you have the than. The most common mistake that you need to avoid, and even English people make this mistake, I don't know if you can see it before I put it in, before I correct it, is that. So apples are cheaper than bananas, not apples are much more cheaper than bananas. Yeah, remember it's either ER or more, but not both. And you will be amazed how often people make that mistake, how easy it is to make that mistake. One final point,
Usually you'll be talking about a big difference, but if you want to talk about a small difference, you can say slightly instead of a bit. Often we would just say, you might say apples are a bit cheaper than oranges, but if you want a smaller difference, for formal English, slightly would be the word I would use. So that's positive, grammatically positive comparatives.
If you need a score of 7 or higher in the IELTS writing tasks, you should avoid using a lot or a bit. So this next week, I suggest that you practice making comparisons without them. Whenever you make a grammatically positive comparison in English and catch yourself saying or texting a lot or a bit, stop and reformulate what you've just said or written with considerably, significantly, or much in the case of a lot, or with slightly in the case of a bit, so that you get used to using them. Then you'll be able to use them automatically when you need to summarize the information in a chart or table in IELTS Writing Task 1, or in a presentation or talk you have to give at work or university. And don't say, for example, more, easier. Remember, it's either more or ER, but not both. If necessary, speak more slowly to make sure you say things correctly.